Welcome to our channel only for seniors. If you're over 60, living in the United States, and you've ever worried about debt hanging over your head, this video is for you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever opened your mailbox and felt that sinking feeling when you saw another bill? Or maybe the phone rings, and it's a debt collector making you feel guilty or pressured about money you don't even think you can pay. Well, here's the truth no one talks about. There are certain debts that seniors over 60 may not have to pay at all. In fact, many lawyers explain that there are 6 specific debts you can legally walk away from, and debt collectors don't want you to know about them. So today, I'm going to walk you through each of these 6 debts, step by step. I'll explain why the law is on your side, what you need to know, and how you can finally breathe a sigh of relief knowing you're not trapped forever. And make sure you stay with me until the very end, because the last debt I'll share is the one that surprises almost every senior I talk to. So grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's talk about how to protect your money, your retirement, and most importantly, your peace of mind. Debt number 1. Old credit card debt beyond the statute of limitations. Let's start with one of the most common types of debt, credit cards. Now, here's something most seniors don't realize. Every state in America has what's called a statute of limitations on debt. That means if a credit card company hasn't taken you to court within a certain number of years, usually between 3 and 6 years depending on your state, they legally cannot sue you to collect. Think about that. If you have an old credit card bill from 7, 8, or even 10 years ago, and you haven't made a payment on it in years, chances are that debt is legally uncollectible. But here's the trick debt collectors use. They try to get you to make even a tiny payment, maybe $20, just so they can restart the clock. That's why lawyers say, don't ever make a good faith payment on a really old debt without checking the statute of limitations in your state. If the time has passed, you may not owe a single penny anymore. Debt number 2. Medical debt that's too old or sent to collections. Medical debt is a huge burden for seniors in the U.S., and it feels unfair, because health isn't something we can control. But here's what lawyers want you to know. Just like credit cards, medical debt also has a statute of limitations. If a hospital or doctor's office hasn't collected after a certain number of years, you cannot be forced to pay. And recently, there's even better news. As of 2022, the 3 big credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, announced that paid medical debt under $500 will no longer appear on credit reports. That means even if you had small collections, they won't drag down your credit anymore. So if a collector is harassing you over a medical bill from many years ago, especially if it's under $500, know your rights. You might not owe it at all. Debt number 3. Certain private student loans. Now I know what you're thinking, student loans? At my age? But yes, many seniors either took out loans for themselves later in life or co-signed loans for their children or grandchildren. Here's the important part. Federal student loans are almost impossible to escape. They can even garnish Social Security in some cases. But private student loans are different. Many private student loans come with the same statute of limitations protection as credit cards and medical bills. And in certain cases, if the lender can't provide proper documentation, those loans may even be dismissed in court. So if you're being harassed about a private student loan that's very old, don't panic. You may not have to pay. Always check what kind of loan it is, federal or private, because that makes all the difference. Debt number 4. Some utility bills and service contracts. Yes, even things like old electric bills, gas bills, or phone contracts can sometimes be walked away from. Here's why. These bills also fall under the statute of limitations rules in your state. If you moved away years ago and suddenly someone calls demanding payment for a light bill from 2005, you don't necessarily have to pay it. In fact, many utility companies simply write these debts off after a certain period of time. Yet, third-party collectors often buy them for pennies on the dollar and try to scare seniors into paying. But legally? If the debt is too old, they can't do much about it. Don't let scare tactics trick you into giving away money you don't owe. Debt number 5, zombie debts that were already discharged or settled. Now, let's talk about something lawyers call zombie debt. This happens when a debt has already been discharged in bankruptcy, or when you already settled it with a payment plan years ago, but it somehow comes back to life. How? Because shady debt collectors buy old accounts, often with incomplete records, and then try to make you pay again. But here's the law: if you already settled the debt, or it was discharged in bankruptcy, you are not legally responsible. Period. Unfortunately, many seniors fall for this because the collector sounds so official. They might even threaten lawsuits or liens. But if you've already cleared the debt, you can walk away without guilt. Always keep records, because having proof shuts these collectors down instantly. Debt number 6, credit card debt of a deceased spouse. This is the one that surprises most people. Lawyers explain that in most cases, you are not responsible for your spouse's credit card debt after they pass away. Unless the card was a joint account, meaning you signed on it too, the debt belongs to the estate of the deceased, not to you personally. But debt collectors often prey on grieving widows and widowers, making it sound like you must pay up or risk losing your home. That's not true. If it wasn't your debt, you don't have to pay it. Period. This one breaks my heart, because too many seniors in the US get bullied into paying debts they never owed. Don't let that happen to you. Final thoughts. So let's recap. According to lawyers, these are 6 debts seniors over 60 may not have to pay. Old credit card debt past the statute of limitations. Medical debt that's too old or too small to be collected. Certain private student loans. Old utility bills and service contracts. Zombie debts already discharged or settled. A deceased spouse's individual credit card debt. Now I want to be clear, I am not a lawyer, and this video is for educational purposes only. But the key message is this: you have rights. Debt collectors don't get to decide your future. The law does. So the next time the phone rings, or the mail brings another threatening letter, remember what you learned today. Take a breath. Don't panic. And don't pay a penny until you know whether that debt is even legally yours. You've worked hard your entire life. You've raised families, served your country, built communities. You deserve peace of mind in your golden years, not harassment from debt collectors. If this video gave you clarity and courage, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Only for Seniors for more helpful content made just for you. And remember, you may not owe nearly as much as they want you to think. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.